I totally agree, but that's the beauty now of sports. For me, everything's unpredictable. That's why you're just always at the edge of your seats.
Yeah, especially with the format.
Yeah.
You know, that's the game changer, and the point system, the FIVB point system. That's where it gets a little tricky for a lot of the fans, and even for us. Sometimes you have to compute all of these things.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, it is the defending champions who are in the finals, and the Cignal HD Spikers who've had a couple of attempts and then always come up short, but now finally peaking at the right time, as they say. So let's begin our conversations with that. Petrogas Angels, Ish. We've always talked about how they just go about their business, and then now they're in the finals.
Yeah, that's the right phrase for it, no? They're very steady, and they know how they play inside the court, and the chemistry is really there. They haven't played, a stagnant type of volleyball. Talagang kung ano yung game nila from their first game up until their last game against Cignal in the semifinal round, ganun pa rin yung pinapakita nila, walang nagbago eh. And that's what you like, especially about the first 7 inside the court.
And Noreen, we've had this narrative for Cignal for a very long time. They always peak at the wrong time. All of a sudden, they're peaking at the right time. And is that what that really stands out in your mind? And of course, what do you see when you see the Cignal team today?
You're happy if you're a Cignal fan on the way they're playing. But we talked about consistency issues. The last game, I would say, they had another problem in that game against Petrogas. So our guess is, the fans, they hope that it's the good Cignal that's going to play in the finals and not that Cignal that played against Petrogas.
The last couple of conferences, it's been unfortunate also for them from an illness standpoint, an injury standpoint. And finally, they get their chance, they get their crack at the finals. All right, with Petrogas, let's talk about the coaching first.
Yeah.
Because they made that change, of course, with Petrogas. He's been there around, Ricafort has been there, but what are your thoughts on that one? And then, of course, Coach Shaq on the other side.
I think for Petrogas, especially for Coach Ricafort, he's trying to implement the Asian volleyball style, the faster ones. Yun yung sinasabi nga ni Lindsay van der Weide, she likes playing volleyball here because it's different.
Yeah.
In the Philippines, it's much more faster.
It is, yeah.
And sinusunod niya, tinatry niyang i-implement and i-employ yung gustong gameplay ni Coach Ricafort. And so far, so good for Lindsay van der Weide. Makikita mo, she goes for the combination plays, she goes for the fast sets. Kasi usually, Westerners opt to attack on top of the block.
Correct.
So she can vary her attacks really.
And since we're talking about strategy here, let's talk about the other side, si Coach Shaq, because he has already made a lot of relatively high-profile decisions with regard to his coaching. Of course, at Iberia coming off the bench. At the start of the conference, it was Esmolina coming off the bench and coming out as a power from the bench. What do you make of what Coach Shaq has done so far?
I think midway through the conference, they decided to play Iberia off the bench, and it worked for them. Remember that huge win against Petrogas as well in 5 sets.
Yes.
Comeback.
Comeback win.
Yeah.
She said, Iberia said, we're playing for scraps here. We need to win the remaining games, and that it all started there.
Yeah.
Na she played off the bench.
Yeah.
They won the first 2 sets, and then after that, they got their rhythm, and in the 5th set, they still won the game.
Yeah.
She is, Noreen, parang, and we'll talk about her a little later on in more in-depth manner, but she is learning as it goes because she is the youngest of all the reinforcements talking about Thai. All right, let's talk about the setters. Noreen, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on Jel Cayuna versus Janelle Cheng?
Oh, I love this matchup because we can see on paper, it's evenly matched.
Yeah.
Both teams, their lineup, all positions are complete. They're all good. So, what will stand out? Really, it's the setting, the playmaking as it should. No, because he's a setter. I mean, how will you maximize your players? How will you, make sure they shine? You read the opponent's defense. And then you also take risks for me. And that's going to be a big factor in the finals for me.
We have to hear from the setters.
Yeah, we do. I was going to say.
What are your thoughts on this?
Well, actually, I have to commend both of these ladies, both Cayuna and Janelle Cheng in the semifinal round. They're peaking at the right time. They're playing confidently for their teams. Janelle Cheng, you can see she drops a lot of balls and she doesn't even jump.
Yeah.
Diba? Parang she just goes for
Effortless.
She doesn't mind if the liberos defending her. She doesn't mind.
Yeah.
And a lot of scores for her doing that. And for Jel Cayuna in the semifinal round, we saw na she utilized everyone. That's why they won that game against Greenland and they won that game against Cherry easily. So talagang sila yung nagpipeak sa mga
And they're
setters.
serving pa.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah,
serving
serving's
both
good.
of them. Yeah, that's a good point, Boo.
Yeah, see Janelle, it's like when she scores, it feels like parang dali ng volleyball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Parang practice
Mga
session.
practice,
Just
parang
like
practice
me.
lang, 100%. Ish, you actually also brought up the middle block.
Yeah.
Middle blockers matchup here. And when you look at Cignal, they have a lot of great blockers in general. But then you highlighted one, you also highlighted MJ Phillips from Petro Gazz. Can you tell us a bit about the matchup yet?
Actually, 3 out of 4 dun sa starters ng both of these teams in the finals, no? Nanalo na ng Best Middle Blocker Awards before. So it's a very good matchup. Only MJ Phillips hasn't won an award, but she's playing a really good conference.
Yes,
she's
she
been
is.
consistent all
Her best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all
Best.
throughout.
Right.
And that last game against Cignal, 5 blocks, I guess, or 4 in just one set.
Yeah.
So all from her. So that's a statement already. And Remy Palma, number 1 in the conference so far for Petrogas. On the other side, Doria, if activated, he's also a deadly middle blocker. And of course, we all know Riri Meneses is a very tall middle blocker. So the match-up of all of these middle blockers really will be vital in the next game.
Noreen, si Riri Meneses, again, a bit injured at the start, didn't really play until later on, and it felt like the season of Cignal kind of turned around when she started getting a bit more active. Do you think that there's another level that she can reach to make that matchup more favorable in favor of Cignal?
Definitely, for me, because of also her experience as part of the national team, and she's been playing for quite a while. And it's the finals. For me, there should be a different mindset really going into the finals. You forget everything, all the pain, but you remember what it's like to have a goal and to fight for that goal.
All right. Just to be fair also to Cignal, they missed Riri Meneses at the end of last conference
Yes, they did.
campaign, di ba? Yun din eh.
Right.
Yeah.
Yung injury niya, napakatagal. So,
Tama.
you raise a great point. She's a big equalizer and a big boost for Cignal. But at the end of the day, the reinforced conference may sometimes boil down to the reinforcements.
Yeah.
And right now, you have Lindsay, who's been splendid from start to finish, and then Tai, who is like coming into her own. Ish, I begin with you with this matchup.
You know what? What is interesting about this? They have coaches who have 2 different coaching styles regarding their reinforcements. Tiberi is really coming off the bench in the last 4 or 5 games.
And yet, top scoring.
Yeah, and it worked for them. Hindi lang nag-work yung last game kasi they lost.
Yeah.
And then, for Lindsay van der Weide, she starts right away for Petrogas. And every time it works. They won a lot of games in the elimination round and in the semifinal round. And she is a very explosive open hitter. They can really rely on her. On the other hand, Tiberia, when it matters the most, they can give the ball to her and she can score. That's what happened in their third set win, that much needed win for them to clinch the final spot. So it's really a toss-up between the two of them. Pero I think right now, in terms of like reliability, I think the fans would go with Lindsay van der Weide. For now, we'll see if it's going to be a different story in the finals.
Yeah, and, offensive numbers also would show that C. van der Weide is the more efficient player, the more offensively impactful one. But then, Noreen, when you look at what Tai is doing, because she actually does contribute in different categories also, and she's on the rise, what type of effort do you feel that she has to make to be able to match up, or at least cancel out the effect of a van der Weide, even though it seems really, really difficult?
No, you have to, let's just mention, Petrogas is following their game plan from the start. I mean, relying a lot on Lindsay van der Weide. She's been scoring like the 27, 25, and that's a norm for her. For me, Tiberia is more of a role player throughout the conference, but what you like about her is, like Ish said, when she's called upon, like the latter part, she comes off the bench and then she scores the 21. So she has accepted her role that I can be, I can support my teammates or I can lead. So it's really a toss-up for me in this finals.
All right, we have a quick minute here. Keys to winning, maybe one big one from you, Ish, and one from you, Noreen.
I think for Cignal to win,
Right.
they have to at least minimize the scoring output of Lindsay van der Weide
Okay.
if they want to.
Okay, depends han. Okay. And
I
Noreen?
want to go general, really. For me, general, I think it's more of the psyche of both
yeah,
teams. Both teams. It's going to be the biggest factor because, you forget about the stats when you're in the finals.
Yeah.
It's the grandest stage of PVL right now for both these teams, especially for Cignal, as you talked about their journey. So it has to be how psychologically prepared they are.
And of course, Gazz, the defending champions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's not
in
their
terms of
first time.
psyche,
Not their first time.
sanay na. Yeah, not their first rodeo. All right.